Hey, good evening, my friends. How are you? What's going on over at Twitter? Having trouble streaming to Twitter. It's on their end. Okay. Nothing I can do about that. How are you, my friends? Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Matt, a mutual friend of mine and the guest that I have coming on here in just a minute. I'll tell you who that is. You can probably guess based on the description of the show. Who we got? Craig Plowman. Oh, it's a pleasure, my friend. Cliff, nice to have you along with us. Jeff, happy Thanksgiving to you. Hello, Randy. Dan, right back at you. Hello, Linda. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Tim, been the same here, buddy. Michelle, keeping an eye on her husband. Somebody's got to keep an eye on him. Who knows what trouble the guy will get into if you don't. Hey, Randy, how are you? Randy, I hear the perch bite out there on the bay is pretty good right now. Can you verify? And what about the walleye bite out on Saginaw Bay right now? If you can get a day when the wind's not blowing, it'd be a good time to jump out there. Good time to jump out there. Bean, Dennis, how you doing? Nice to have you along with us. My name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday. Don't do it. I'm not going to touch it. Hey, Nick. Nick got his first coyote with Matt. It was an amazing hunt with him. I shot and missed a couple more that night as well. Nick is standing by the way. Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats. We're going to bring him on here in a minute, and he's going to pick the winner of this week's Ham for the Holidays. Before we do that, a plug for some new flavors from Michigan Brand. The Honey Hot Peach. And this one right here that I absolutely love, Korean style barbecue smoked pork. This bag was full. Somebody ate it. I'm not saying who it is. I'm just saying I like that new flavor. It's one of 4 new flavors. More on that coming up. Otto, good evening. How are you? Hello, George, Savage Dog Outdoors. Sean, fellow angler, Quest owner. Appreciate you joining us. Ted, always a pleasure. Brian, what are you seeing on the cameras? What are you seeing in person? It is really slowed down across the road over for us. My grandson, Trent, shot a nice doe last Wednesday night. I hope to shoot one that night too and double up. I personally have not seen a deer while gun hunting this season. That's okay. Honestly, seriously, it is. If the others around me, if my family members can get deer, I shot a doe early on with my crossbow. I'm good. I got that doe in the freezer. I got Michigan Brand bear brats and burger in the freezer from my Michigan bear. So I'm good. This year, I'm just glad to be out there, right? Could have gone the other way. Ross, my friend, how you feeling, buddy? How's the back healing up? Chad, nice to have you along with us. Great day on the Steelhead waters today. Set him to feel like a good run this year. West side, Linda, Manistee River. Couple bucks, but it's very slow on cameras. Yeah, you're seeing the same thing we are, Brian. Dave, always a pleasure, buddy. How are you? That's what I said. Savage Dog Outdoors, George. Oh, we've got George and Savage Dog Outdoors. It's like having Nick Grillo and Michigan Brand on at the same time. Richard, no, where they? They were running around in the city down this way today. Should be hunting in the city. Brian, headed out walleye fishing in a few, going on Lake Huron hand lining. Excellent. Good night for that. Have fun. Marion, always a pleasure. And have a nice Thanksgiving as well. Matt Schock said he had a great time hunting with you, Nick Grillo. Linda says, yes, the Manistee. Richard said, I'm glad you were able to get out there. Yeah, I was just glad to get out there. Jordan, did you hear on the NRC? I'm sorry, I should know this. Jordan was making a bid to be on the NRC. I supported him. Haven't heard anything happen. Darren says, brand new, just came across you now. Darren, what I am, I'm a Michigan-based guy who does a lot of talking about hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping. I do a radio show. I do a podcast. I do a lot of social media. I do a behind the mic live stream every Wednesday morning at 8:45 from the radio studio. And I do this every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on several of my social media outlets called Wednesday Night Live. Jim's out there right now, 2 eyes in the box, lost one, follow hook the Lakers so far tonight. Jim's out there casting crankbaits for walleye after dark. Martin, good evening. How are you? Martin, hello, Mike. Listening to you in the woods while gutting a deer. Congrats, Martin. You were one of the kids. Tommy, good evening, buddy. How are you? Tommy says the woods were quiet for him this evening. Greg, happy Thanksgiving to you. Adam says, glad you're doing better. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm doing very well. Just for those of you who have not been here before, I actually had a pretty serious stroke 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks and 2 days ago. And here I am. So yeah, I am doing great. And I will have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Dave is down 64 pounds. Good for you, Dave. You feel better, don't you? Martin, good evening. Jordan, no news right now. A chat for another day when you have time. All right. Got you, Jordan. All right. Let me bring in Nick. You ready? All right. Let me bring in a good friend of mine. He's a friend of the Outdoor Magazine show as well. And we'll bringing in right now Nick Grillo from Michigan Brand. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Mike. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, Nick.
Where'd that bag go, huh?
What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking. Hey, real quick, tell me about the 4 new flavors. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So we've been wanting to do, add to our line for a little while now, and we've been pretty busy the last couple of years keeping up and everything, which is a great problem to have. But we finally worked on that this year, and we came up with 4 brand new flavors. As you mentioned, that one right there is the Korean barbecue pork. So that's a pork jerky. That's a really good one. We have a hot honey peach. That's probably one of my favorites. It's a little spicy for me because it's got that hot honey. But
what I noticed about this one, Nick, is it's not spicy while you're eating it, but when you're done, it gets you.
It lasted, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we have a honey jalapeno beef. So that's kind of like a sweet and hot blend that we put together, and with the jalapeno spice and everything. So that's a beef jerky as well. And then we have a teriyaki pineapple. So those people that love sweet jerky, we blended our teriyaki jerky with some pineapple. And yeah, if you're a sweet guy, that's definitely your route. That's awesome.
Chad says he's looking forward to the new flavors, including the pineapple one.
Yeah, awesome. They're at all Ford convenience stores, Connolly gas stations. They're at Lambert's and Gladwin. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we pretty much have them like over half of our stores right now, and we're getting them in almost every store. We launched them last month, so yeah, you're probably seeing them in your stores by now.
Nick, I got it. I got another complaint. I walked into a store tonight. I may have been buying some Maker's Mark for the holiday season, and thank God there's a rack of Michigan brand products right by the front door, and there's no Mike Avery Hunter sticks. What's up with that?
Really? Yep. I know. We gotta
you're
drop
dancing
those everywhere.
You're
Yeah,
dancing.
right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a conversation for off air, I think. Then
They probably just sold out. I'm guessing that was yeah.
That's what it is. It's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. Hey, Nick, let's talk because I know you got something to do tonight. Let's talk about ham for the holidays. You were not able to join us last week. You were actually under the weather. You look, like you're feeling much better now.
Yep.
So I appreciate you giving me some time tonight. What's the thinking behind this ham for the holidays? And we'll do it now till the first of the year, I think.
Yep, exactly. That's the plan. If you're good with it, I think if I remember right, I think this is our 5th year already that we've been doing it. So it's just something that you and me kind of were chit-chatting one night, and we kind of said, what would be a fun way to give out some free product but also have fun with it. And you were doing these Wednesday night lives back then, obviously, and we said, you know what, like, you have a big following for that. Let's give it to our loyal customers, and obviously a lot of your fan base are loyal to us and buy a lot of our products. And we thought about the holidays because that's the perfect time. I mean, hams, that's kind of a staple. Obviously Thanksgiving is turkey, but a lot of people have ham as well, and then Christmas, New Year's, and then even Easter as well. Hams, a lot of people still do them. family dinners and everything. So it's a perfect time. So we said, let's do it for fun, and we'll give one every week away, and we use UPS at the plant. So I said, all we need is their address and we can ship them right to their door. And it's been going pretty smooth so far. We got a lot of people that have tried
Nice.
them for the first time. We have a lot of people that have bought them every year and they happen to win. And I'm not gonna lie, there's really no rhyme or reason for the winners I pick. I pick random every week. So I love reading the comments. They come in fast and furious, and I love reading through them. And sometimes I pick that funny one. Sometimes I pick the nice, generous ones. Sometimes I pick that one that says, "Hey, I've never tried it," but I just pick at random every week. I just close my eyes and pick one. So
And
it's
just
fun.
and just to be clear too, I love it when people say, I want to give my ham to a needy family, which is a wonderful thing to do. But I'm asking people not to make that comment because when they do, it's really hard for you, Nick, to go past that one, isn't it?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And thank you for making a point to say that. Obviously, we do stuff from our family or from the business. We love to help people out, charities, anything like that. But you're right. How if somebody's saying, "Oh, I'll donate it to this," blah blah blah, that's wonderful. I love that, but I don't want to, like you said, have to, you know, in my heart or in my gut say, "I
Right,
gotta pick this person just
right,
because they
right.
said that." Yeah, exactly.
And
So
if somebody and
yeah, I
if
was just
somebody
gonna
wins a
say,
ham, we're going to do this one per season. Like for this year's ham for the holidays. If somebody wins, please don't enter again because we want to get as many people as possible hams. In fact, if I walk over 2 rooms, I got a ham. We have a ham in the fridge here for the Avery house tomorrow, turkey and ham. We always have a Michigan brand ham, Nick.
so we're doing the same actually tomorrow, and what's kind of funny is I don't know if you've tried this way yet, Mike. Um, we we do quite a few this year or this time of year for Thanksgiving as well, but we pump and smoke turkeys. I know we talked about venison hams, like if you ever wanted to try that when you got your dough and stuff like that. So we can do that for venison hams, but we do that for turkeys as well. All you have to do, you can get a farm raised turkey. You can go to Meyer and buy just the over the counter turkey, bring it to us, and we pump and brine it with the same ham brine that we use in our hams. We smoke it, and so then when you get it back, it's a smoked turkey, but it's actually cooked in with our brine. So it actually has a ham flavoring. It stays nice and juicy, and it's actually really good. So tomorrow
Hmm.
we're having a smoked ham brine turkey, and we're having a ham also.
Nice, nice, nice. All right, Nick. So listen, so I can get you out the door. Hey, Brent, a mutual friend of ours. When I give the go sign, and I will do it shortly, you'll
Mhm.
have like say a minute and a half to make your comments on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham. When we do that, Nick, I'm going to take you off camera so you can concentrate on what's there, and I'll bring you back in. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to take you off camera right now. All right, my friends, you've got a minute and a half starting right now on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham for the holidays. You're not going to get it in time for Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is tomorrow. But make your comments now. Michelle already made one. My husband bought one for Thanksgiving. He likes it so much, I probably won't get any. Good point. Rick, thank you to Nick Grillo and the Grillo family for being so generous. Absolutely. Make your comments now on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham for the holidays. Martin's in on this. Richard's in on this thing. Tommy, where'd Tommy go? Tommy's here. Linda says, Nick, pick me, pick me. Joe, Corey. All right, 1 minute left on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham. And then what we'll do is Nick will pick a winner, and then we will get your mailing address, and Nick will get it out to you as soon as possible. Oh, there's a threat there. Brent says, I know where you live, Nick. I can come and pick one up. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. 15 seconds. I'm not looking at my watch. 15 seconds on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham. Oh, Ross puts it all in caps. He thinks that's going to help him out by putting it all in caps. 15 seconds on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham. I wish my official timer was standing by because I feel like I might be able. I'm not going to break a record tonight, right? But I might be able to do pretty well. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tim Binns is the last one to get in. Tim Binns is the last one to get in. We'll bring Nick back in. He's going over the. Hold on, Nick. I got to get ready. I got to do the buzzer. Okay. That's all I got. I don't want to stroke myself out again. All right. Okay, Nick. Sorry to subject you to that. Who have you got for us?
All right. So thank you for mentioning about not receiving it before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody realized that.
Yeah.
And I do want to say I hope that's no issue at all, but I'm actually not going to ship it out till Monday. We're closed Friday as well. We wanted our employees to be able to have the long weekend and everything. So
Of course.
if that's okay with whoever wins this, which I actually did just pick a winner. I'm going to put it in the chat just in case.
You know what? It's going to have to be good with whoever wins, Nick, because that's how we're doing it. So it is what it
is. You're right. Yeah, good point. So I apologize if I say the name wrong, but it is Pam Feniger with the P. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. So I apologize if it's not. But Pam, you are tonight's winner.
I would say Feniger. Absolutely. Pam Feniger is the winner of tonight's Wednesday Ham for the Holidays on Wednesday Night Live. Pam, what you have to do now, Nick is on here. I'm on here. You can send either one of us in a private message your mailing address. If you send it to me, I'll just forward it to Nick. And Monday, he will get that ham out for you. So you're not going to have it for tomorrow, but you'll have it for next week for sure. And Nick, I appreciate that. Appreciate your generosity. Again, if people don't win a ham, they can always go to the website, michiganbrand.net, and order them online.
Yep, exactly. Yep. We are just kind of getting closer to the tail end of deer season. Obviously, we still have a lot of deer meat that are coming in. So we go right from deer season right to ham season. So we're making them round the clock. So we'll have them all up till New Year's. Like you mentioned, we'll be giving away a ham every Wednesday up till New Year's. So we'll have a fun time with this.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. MichiganBrand.net, MichiganBrand.net. Congrats to Pam Feniger. And Nick, I'm going to let you get on with your evening, buddy. We'll talk again.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Have a good night. Nick Grillo, one of the really, really good guys. Nick, you still there? When will the spirals be available? Can you answer that in a comment, Nick? Okay. Nick's going to answer that, Michelle, in a comment. Martin says, thank you. Thanks, Nick, Michigan Brand, for your generous giveaway. Congrats, Pam. Nick, you're a class act. Nick is a class act. There's no doubt about it. Nick and Michigan Brand, the Grillo family, do generate a lot. Hey, Steve, how are you? Nice to have you along with us, my Trinity brother, on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. We just gave away a Michigan Brand ham, Steve. Nick Grillo was just on with me. Corey says, Mike, how have you been feeling? I'm doing great. Honestly, I'm doing absolutely perfect. A little bit of vision in my right eye. If I try to, just look out my right eye, things are a little funky over here. But even if it never gets any better, I'd be fine. So I'm very, very happy and very, very blessed. I'm feeling absolutely great. My strength is back. I get a little tired sometimes, but I'm doing very, very good. Okay, so last Friday, I saw a white doe, 69 in middle belt. Like all the way white? Okay, Nick is answering Michelle's question. Michelle, we try to do it as close to Christmas with the short shelf life of that glaze. Most likely it'll be a couple of weeks, maybe 20 days before Christmas, we'll have the first ones. So, Michelle, I tell you what, stay on me on this one. Stay in touch with me. I'll stay in touch with Nick. He's shaking his head yes. So if you keep asking, Michelle, are those available yet? Are those available yet? I will stay in touch with Nick. And Nick's on here with us every week anyway, and we'll get your question answered. All right, Nick is shaking his head yes. Tim, good evening. How are you? Savage Dog says, we appreciate you. You know what? I appreciate you guys. I mean this. I mean, if you weren't here, there'd be no reason for me to do this. So, what did I think of your Missouri buck? I thought your Missouri Corey, did I post that yet? If not, I apologize and I will. But Corey, did I post your Missouri buck yet? I fully intended to. I did get a little bit behind with all the deer that I had coming in. So if I did not, I apologize and I will. Just tell me right now. You don't think so? Corey, I'm going to add it to my list right now of things. Well, it's called my today list, but it's not going to be today. It's going to be Friday because I'm not going to do any work tomorrow. Post Corey, Missouri buck. All right, Corey, I apologize for that. Sometimes I get behind, just like the rest of you in your job. Sometimes things get ahead of me and I get behind, especially this fall. This fall's been kind of a rock and roll fall, as you know. Okay, so let's talk about a few things. Tomorrow is indeed Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. I hope you have a wonderful day. We've got family coming over here tomorrow. We're going to have a turkey and a Michigan brand ham. Tim, hunted state land tonight, saw nothing, heard shooting in the distance. Richard, speaking of seeing wildlife, saw about a half dozen turkeys, big beaver, and a quinder. Dave, thank you. Appreciate that. Johnny Bowler got a little busy. What were you? Were you plowing snow or were you chasing fires tonight? Or were you over at Andy's? Hunting has been slow. Seeing some little bucks. Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, Mickey, I got to tell you, at this point, I do want to get back out. I certainly will. I plan on getting back out, especially with the liberalized late season hunting restrictions and regulations. Where I'm at, I can continue to use my Brenton 350 Legend for the next several weeks, and will do so. If I can use that, I love using a crossbow, but if I can use my 350 Legend from Brenton instead of a crossbow, that's what I'm going to use. But realistically, I'm doe hunting at this point. I'm just not seeing the bucks. And a lot of people around us are just not seeing bucks either. It's going to be that time of year. Thank you, Martin. Right back at you. Tim, same, right back at you. Mike had surgery yesterday. Can't be in the woods. Thankful I'm able to listen to the Avery live show. I appreciate that, Mike. And prayers for a quick healing up for you. Mark Halston, happy Thanksgiving. Right back to you. Heading to Arizona on Friday. Rub it in, rub it in, rub it in. Johnny Bowlers, happy Thanksgiving to all. Be safe. Indeed. And as you look at the weather, it's cold and going to continue to be cold. In fact, the pond behind the house had a skim of ice on it today, and that ice stayed there all day long. Now, I know I've seen some posts from some friends of mine who are hardcore ice fishermen who are saying, let's bring on some early season ice. So we'll see what happens. Mother Nature does what Mother Nature wants to do. Whether she brings ice this year or not, I don't know. Certainly, there's no doubt that we don't get the winters like we did when I was a kid growing up. I mean, I just can't deny it. Okay. Last time I was out, Martin says, you're throwing me off saying Martin. I used to be the only Martin on here. I know there's more than one now. Corey sent it down to Lorain, Lake Erie for some fall fishing. Yes, it's going to be cold. Lee says maybe some snow in Tennessee on Sunday. Deer hunting has changed a lot, hasn't it, Tim? Hang in there, Dave. Hang in there. My last time out, I had a great hunt. Didn't see a deer, didn't shoot a deer, but I was hunting with my grandson, Trent. He was not in my blind. We were I'm guessing about 300 yards apart. About an hour before dark, I hear him shoot. I texted him and said, dead deer, buck or doe? He said big doe because he'd already shot one buck. And he told me that night, he said, if I get a chance to shoot a doe, I'm going to. So once I heard that he shot a doe, I was full on in doe patrol mode. If I would have had a doe of a decent size walk in front of me, I was going to shoot her because I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a night where Trent, my grandson and I both shoot deer. I thought that'd be very cool. Johnny says 6 to 12 inches through Sunday. A little overtime money for you. Have to order some blinds. Hang tight. Don't order the race. I mean, I love the race, but that new, what's the new one? The Harvester, which I haven't got I had my hands on one and I gave it away. That's the one to keep an eye for. Ross said, my son is going to help me try to get out tomorrow morning to do our annual Thanksgiving Day hunt. Hopefully I'm able to get out. I hear what you're saying, Ross. James actually took his quad out to our lease property so I could get out opening day. And honestly, I took it out there last Friday as well. I just, at that time, I just didn't want to take a chance. Now I would actually go out there and walk through the woods after dark, and I wouldn't be concerned. Jeff is looking forward to muzzleloader season. Looks like I can use any legal weapon during that season. Yes. So why do we even call it a muzzleloader season anymore, right? It's certainly not a primitive season anymore. I mean, honestly, I can be out there where I live. I can have my 350 Legend from Brenton, center fire rifle. Why wouldn't I use it? Wink, wink. Yeah, I see what I can do there, Johnny Bowler. Okay, what else is on my list here? Let me talk. Sorry, don't know where that came from. Let me talk a little bit about who's on the radio show this week. It's an extended rifle season is what it is. Rifle season, firearm season went from 2 weeks here in Michigan to basically 6 weeks, at least where I live in my part of the state. Linda says, okay, now that center fires are allowed during muzzleloader season, should I be wearing orange while bow hunting? Yes. Yeah. My understanding, Linda, is if there is a gun season in effect, you have to wear orange, even if you are bow hunting. Good point. Good question, though. Big coyote the other day, Tommy. Cool. Elmer, big lake effect snow for up north this weekend. Elmer, you're in Petoskey, right? Catch up on some of the snowfall we haven't gotten yet. Remind me, Elmer, I feel like you're in Petoskey. Tim, going to be using his Mossberg 450 during muzzle loading. I'm going to use my Brenton 350. Craig says, last week's show was great. Tough act to follow, but I know you're up to it. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. And it is indeed my goal to make every week's show as good as possible. But who did I have on last week that you liked so much? Because I can tell you who's on this week. But honestly, once I do a show, I put it in the rear view mirror. Are in Petoskey. Excellent. George says he can't wait for the big snow. Once I do a show, I kind of forget about it and move on. I start looking at the next show. So remind me. Deer Drive on Thanksgiving. This is something we talked about a little bit last week, Lee, but I didn't get a chance to follow up on it. Deer drives are an extremely effective technique. Hey, Chris, how are things in Kansas? Appreciate you being along. Deer drives are an extremely effective technique, but they don't get used much anymore, at least not in the areas that I hunt and not with the people that I know. It used to be like after the deer were hunted for a couple days and the bucks went nocturnal. Oh, Chad Stewart, and you talk about what happened during your stroke. Oh, thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. And the reason I brought that up was just to remind people, if you think somebody's having a stroke, don't screw around. Call the cavalry and get into the ER and get this clot busting drug. But, like now, like the deer are pretty much nocturnal. The bucks are nocturnal. We're not seeing them, but they're still around. So what if you took 3 or 4 guys or women, ladies, and you slowly walked through the bedding area or slowly walked through any standing corn that might still be out there and position a hunter or two at the end of where you're driving and just wait. It would still work. Be very effective, but I just don't know anybody who really does it anymore. skipping muzzleloader season, going to Vegas. You going to spend that money I gave you for my bear hunt? You going to go blow it in Vegas? That $10,000 I gave you, Johnny Bowler, for my bear hunt? Bill says, really enjoy hearing your family adventures. Cherish the moments. Amen to that. Eric says, deer drives are almost never done anymore. I know. Why is that? Mick just got in from the woods. Hello from the Sioux. How are things in the Sioux, Mick? Mick, do you have snow on the ground in the Sioux, and how much snow do you have? Chris, good evening. How are you? Okay, this week's show, speaking of Chris Durson of Rapid River Knives is my first guest this week. You know what we talk about? We talk about the fact that if you would like one of these, and you can't have this knife because this one is mine, if you would like a Rapid River knife for yourself, or if, better yet, if you're getting a Rapid River knife for somebody for Christmas, don't wait. Make that order now. Go to rapidriverknifeworks.com and order it now. Or better yet, go to the store, see it in person. Ross said 10 grand. Yeah, Ross said 10 grand. How'd you get it so cheap? Yeah, Ross, this is interesting because Johnny Bowler charged me $10,000 for my Michigan bear hunt. And he said he was actually giving me a deal. Now, Ross, it turns out, based on what you paid, that I did get a deal. So this is how Johnny's going to Vegas. He's taking my 10 grand. He's taking 10 grand from other bear hunters, and he's going to Vegas. Going to hunt a special spot in the morning. Hey, Chris, would that be the Avery food plot? Bruce, good evening. That's all right. Scott. Deer drives were over in the late 80s. They were very effective when we did them. Okay, Scott, I agree with you, but why did the practice of deer drives end in Michigan? Why did we stop doing them? Because they were very effective. Mick, about 6 to 8 inches in the Sioux. Few deer left are starting to move. Excellent. Excellent. Good to hear that, Mick. Eric, the young hunters push a deer to the older hunters, or vice versa, depending on how young the young hunters were. Rick, we did deer drives when I was younger. It takes a pretty good crew. It does, but why did we stop doing them? Somebody please answer that question. Why did we stop doing deer drives? If Johnny wins a jackpot in Vegas, maybe he could give you a freebie hunt next time. I think that's only fair. I mean, I figure I've hunted with Johnny 3 times and I paid him almost $30,000 for my Michigan bear hunts. I should get something for that. A free blind or something. Tommy, I got the Uper because you inspired me to. The Uper folding knife. Johnny says, I'm putting it all on red. Craig, okay, here's what I'm looking for. Why did we quit doing them? Craig says, we stopped our annual deer drives when buckshot was outlawed. It was the best shot for a choice for our pushers. Now I see my feed is freezing up just a little bit. Let me see if I can change the setting here and help out here. I'm going to decrease the quality of my video from high def down to standard definition and see if that catches up, if it doesn't buffer so much. Okay. It doesn't look like that's going to help. Craig says, we stopped our annual drives when buckshot was outlawed. It was the best choice for our pushers. Yep. Tommy, very nice knife indeed. Ross says, I need to start guiding bear. Patrick, I've been waiting to hear from you. Just got back from Saskatchewan. How was your hunt in Saskatchewan? Johnny says, looking for a huge tip. Johnny, I figured at 10 grand, I didn't need to give you much of a tip. Jeff said, usually somebody called the DNR, not worth the hassle. Why would somebody call the DNR on people doing a deer drive? Because as far as, I know it used to be a legal technique. I believe it still is. Why would somebody call the DNR about that? I think people look down on the deer hunters. Let me see, or let me ask you before I make a change on my end. Is my video freezing up on your end? Is it hanging up on your end? If so, I will make one more adjustment to see if I can fix it. Big Doe hanging out there, Big Freezer Queen, as they call them on the TV hunting shows. Deer drives no longer exist because deer camps are not out there anymore. Good answer. Good answer. Rick said we had about 8 people. Scott, we could drive from Cedar Springs to Howard City and never worry too much about it. Private property ownership has changed, and you don't dare step foot on their land or you go to jail. Good point. Now, Scott mentioned Howard City because that's where he grew up, in Cedar Springs, which is where I grew up. Johnny says you gave me all your blinds. Corey, a lack of interest in hunting in general, and because people are leaving towards bigger deer hunting, more mature, brown is down mentality. I think you might have nailed it, Corey. Okay, so it is freezing up, but the audio is good, so I'm going to let it go. Corey, I think you may have nailed it. We went from if it's brown, it's down mentality, because when you're doing a deer drive, you don't often get a lot of time to make a decision. You see a deer come by, am I going to shoot or not? Okay. When deer drives were big, a lot of hunters in Michigan said, if it's brown, it's down. I'm going to shoot it. These days, more and more hunters say they're holding out for mature animals. I think you nailed it, Corey. I think you nailed it. Thank you for helping me wrap my post-stroke brain around that. Johnny, Ross has them big spenders over in Canada. I don't think Ross is getting 10 grand for his hunts like you did, Johnny. Actually, I got a guy just down the road says he'll give me a hunt, a UP, a third season hunt for half that. I would never leave you, Johnny. I would never leave you. Elmer says the landscape has changed. I agree with the comments about private land. So many more homes now compared to the 80s. Yes, that's a factor too. Absolutely. A lot of people say, yes, the video is freezing up. It's sporadic, but also that the audio is still fine. So if the audio is okay, I will continue on without dropping the quality of the feed even more. Yeah. Video seems okay. Video is good now. It's better. Okay. Thank you. Patrick says, awesome. One too many walk. Time ran out, but it was a great time. 11 guys went 9 for 11. Amish still do deer drives. Good point. Yeah, a lot of Amish do. So they get it. Excellent. Rapid River Knives right here. In fact, I got off track here. I was talking about the rundown for this week's show, and I was showing my Rapid River knife saying, if you want one in time for Christmas, if you want one in time for Christmas, don't wait. Make your order now. Go to rapidriverknifeworks.com, rapidriverknifeworks.com, and make your order. Use the promo code Avery10, get 10% off. Chris Durson, the man behind Rapid River Knives, and by the way, it's a new website, rapidriverknifeworks.com. It's very cool. Was on the show with me this week. Mark Halston says, a good point. It's hard to count 3 on one side when they're going by you at 30 miles an hour. Oh, Patrick, he went 9 for 11 on bucks in Saskatchewan. It sounds to me like you let one pass and you didn't get your buck, but you still had a good time, I bet. Scott Hand says, we still do deer drives on state land. Let me go back to you, Chris. Chris Durson of Rapid River. The question we're having right now, the conversation we're having is about deer drives. They used to be a very effective way to take down deer in the late season. We're saying downstate, we don't see as many deer drives. Do you guys in the UP do deer drives at all anymore? Craig says he offered Johnny $25K for a hunt last year and he just laughed. I did get a discount. I got one for $10K. Patrick says we went by Rapid River on the way home today. Patrick, never drive by the Rapid River store. Never drive by. Always stop in. If you're going down US 2 just east of Rapid River, I don't care if you're going east or west, and you see that store, stop. It should be a mandatory stop. Chris at Rapid River says it's very popular on large pieces of private land yet today. Excellent. Okay, so the guys at Rapid River, they will sell out, right? They won't have anything left by the time Christmas gets here. So Chris Durson is on the show with me this week to remind us of that, to talk about the new website, to talk about the Avery 10 discount, to talk about how popular that discount is. We talked about their big buck night. We talked about their new partnership with Stormy Cromer. Anytime I have a conversation with Chris, it's a good conversation. Patrick said he didn't have any money left to buy anything. Hey, you can't get this knife because this is a woolly mammoth tusk. You're going to pay a long dollar for this one. It's worth every penny, but you can get the cheaper version of this, the base model of this, for I think like $125. And then you use the promo code Avery10, you get 10% off. The only difference between my knife, which is just this ridiculous high-end, beautiful custom-made knife, and their stock model is the quality of the handle. My knife is guaranteed for life. The base model, stock model, is also guaranteed for life. Martin says the Rapid River store is an absolute must-see. It is amazing. Absolutely. Corey says a lot of guys I know that hunt mature deer don't do drives, but a similar technique. Scent bump. It's not as fast moving and you get more time to see the mature bucks not going 30 miles an hour. Interesting. Patrick says, I have a new Uper knife. Ross, I got to go. Ramona's here. Okay. So Ramona has been upgraded from companies here to Ramona is here. Ross, you have a wonderful Christmas as well, my good friend. I appreciate that. Jeff, happy Thanksgiving to all. Boy, my time's almost up. Who's on the rest of the show this week? I talked about Chris Durson from Rapid River. Then Brent Pike of the Michigan Wildlife Council joins me to talk about the Hear It for Generations campaign. In hour number 2, think of all of you who want to do, well, Elmer, when's the last time you were up there? He said, don't let the outside of the Rapid River shop deceive you. They just did a remodeling of the outside. It's beautiful. Thank you, Chris. Right back at you, buddy. Daryl Godden joins me to talk about wolf hunting in Ontario. You're not going to get to legally hunt wolves in Michigan in the foreseeable future. If you want to get your vengeance on wolves, go to Ontario. Then Steve Wyndham of MUCC joins me. This week's Ask Avery question: what was my most memorable hunt ever? I can't nail it down to one, so I talk about several. Scott Hand, I did not include that elk hunt to Colorado that we went on. And then in the third hour, we're talking with Richard P. Smith, talking about late season hunting, about Richard's upcoming downstate book signing tour, and of course, wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner wraps it all up with another great venison recipe. Had a bad experience during late bow season hunting where people would shoot in the air to scare the deer. Yeah, that's going a little too far. Help me out, Craig. Open what? Open and what? Dang, where'd we go, Scott? Dang, I was just where are you, Scott? I was just typing about that great hunt. Years ago, Scott and I went on an elk hunt in Colorado. Not one of my best hunts. No, the animals were there and the guide wouldn't let us get to them. Yeah. Hey, every hunt can't be your best hunt, right? Okay, let me do what has to be done here. That's how I wrap up each week's Wednesday Night Live. My name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday Night Live. My website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Appreciate you joining me. Have a blessed and happy Thanksgiving. Hope you get a chance to get together with your family and friends. That is the Ballad of Mike Avery, the way I wrap up each week's Wednesday Night Live. Oh, next week, I'm not doing a Wednesday Night Live. I've got a post-stroke procedure Wednesday, and I'll be out. So I will not do a Wednesday Night Live next week. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, my friends.